Hey everybody, it's Jordan here with Major Hi-Fi, and today we've got something really special for you. It's a brand new release from Final Audio, the D7000. Final Audio has long held a seat at the audiophile table with their D series of headphones, specifically the D8000, the D8000 Pro, and the D8000 Pro Limited Edition. Now the D7000 will step up as a new top-of-the-line offering from the company at around $3,500. So why don't we just get into it and see what these things are capable of? In the box, you get the D7000 headphones, a 3-meter black OFC cable with a 1/4-inch termination, the cable pouch, of course the attaché case, and the locking key for that case. So in terms of the look of these headphones, they do look pretty similar to the D8000 Pro, although there are some key differences in the style department, namely the obvious one. This one comes in an all matte black finish, as compared to the silver and black finish on the Final Audio D8000 Pro. Likewise, the cable is also black. I found build quality to be a highlight on this headphone. Everything from its ear cups to the headband scream premium. They scream custom made for the headphones, and like for example, the ear cups have a special fabric made from Japanese paper, and this is really cool. It's really unique, something you don't usually see in headphones. The cable is nice and thick without being too stiff and has absolutely no microphonics. The cable also features a locking mechanism on its connectors, and the clamping force is tight but not uncomfortable. So these are going to be snug on your head, which is great for if you're going to be moving your head back and forth, which, spoiler alert, you will be. Overall, the D7000 is a really comfortable, really premium feeling headphone, and for the price, I think you're going to be happy with what you get. As long as you're a fan of the all matte black styling, I think you can't go wrong with style or fit. So, to me, one of the most exciting new features on this headphone is the pinna align diffuser. After testing out various ear shapes, Final Audio settled on a design that would bring the best sound to all ears. To be more specific, the pinna is different on everybody's ear, and so what Final's trying to do here is create a way of delivering the same quality sound to everybody's ears. The D7000 has a 50 ohm impedance and a sensitivity of 89 decibels, so this is not an easy headphone to drive. I used a few amplifiers, namely the FIO Q15 and the iBasso DC Elite, and they both were able to power the headphone pretty well, but gave different types of results. And needless to say, I was pushing gain pretty hard. You may even want to run these balanced to get better power from your amplifier, so that's where an included balanced cable from Final would have been really nice. So if you're going to pick up the D7000, I think it's pretty important that you have a pretty strong DAC amp setup to make sure you're getting the best performance out of them. So if you've listened to anything from the D8000 line from Final, you know that soundstage is something that Final's really good at. In fact, soundstage is pretty great on all of their headphones and IEMs from top of the line all the way down to entry-level types of gear. With the Q15, though, I actually found this to be a more intimate presenting headphone. Not to say that the soundstage was bad, but it just felt a little bit closer, a little bit less lateral space, but imaging was really strong. However, when I switched to the DC Elite from iBasso, things really opened up, and I got that famous Final Audio wide sound. It sounded really great, almost holographic. Imaging was really good, and I think especially with the ear pads, things just felt really open and airy. Now, if you're a person who likes a lot of bass and low end in their headphones, then I've got the pleasure of telling you that the D7000 is a warm, low-end heavy headphone. But it's not just quantity. Listening to Neil Young's Out on the Weekend, I got a really good sense of attack from the kick drum, while also at the same time getting really good separation with the bass guitar. Even though the low end was packing a punch, I really felt a good sense of detail. Jumping to the mid-bass of this headphone is kind of where my one gripe kind of lies. It's not always a huge problem, but on the Q15, I definitely felt, especially on more congested tracks like Sufjan Stevens' Chicago, that things got a little bit lost in that mid-bass section. There wasn't the most smooth transition, not the most detail there. Kind of the one flaw in this sound signature that I found. But when I switched back over to the iBasso DC Elite from the Q15, things started to go back to that balanced sound that the DC Elite is capable of. So that hump in the mid-bass kind of became smoother, and the transition became just a little bit clearer. Now, I am going to be upfront when it comes to the mid-range. This is a V-shaped headphone for sure. But that doesn't mean you're necessarily losing any detail or any ability to resolve in that mid-range. I actually found the mid-range to be fairly detailed and resolving with good dynamics. Sticking with Neil Young and See the Sky About to Rain, I got a really good sense of how Neil Young's voice goes from quiet to loud, and picking up just the subtleties in his voice. But it was on Casey Musgrave's Butterflies where I was really impressed with the mid-range. However, the recessed mids do bring about one small gripe for me. Things like snare hits, things like distorted guitar don't have that real punch to them, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's not that the detail's not there, it's just presented more musical, more liquidy, rather than snappy and sharp and punchy. Now, the high end on this headphone is actually where I'm most impressed. Typically on a warmer sounding headphone where there's a mid-bass hump and things are definitely geared towards that lower mid area, the top end can be a little bit veiled sounding. What's really nice about these headphones is that the top end is actually really resolving, really clear, and really nice. It's never sibilant, it's never artificial, it's just a really natural sounding treble region. Somehow this headphone manages to stay warm and musical while also being crisp and detailed, which is really an impressive feat. On Dejan's Talk Down and Kendrick Lamar's DNA, I really got a nice mix from the low end to the top end, with the treble kind of bringing together the bass and the beats that really propel those songs forward. Overall, the headphone supplies a rich and enjoyable tonality. So at the end of the day, this headphone might be for you if you're looking for a top-of-the-line headphone that's warm, that uses top-of-the-line technology like the Pinna Align diffuser to bring something new to the sound signature. There's a lot of technology going on, as well as just a classic sound signature. Overall, this is a comfortable, well-built, and great-sounding headphone. So if you're looking for a high-end headphone, this might be a good place to start. Alright, so that does it for today's major hi-fi review of the Final D7000. If you liked what you saw, definitely like down below and subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this. We'll see you next time with another review.